Welcome to the Real Estate ICU. Every Sunday and every Thursday, I'm going to give you an update on what's happening in the real estate market from the trenches. I'm Andrew Warburton. I'm the property advisor, and I really want you to hear this every week. So subscribe so that I can get in touch with you every week and let you know what's going on. So all of this crazy media you hear is put in context. You know, it's interesting. There are some people, for example, on YouTube who will say, you know, this is Armageddon, it's the end of the world. And I recognize I could probably do really well just making crazy videos. But, you know, on the other hand, that kind of insults your intelligence. And I've always thought, if you give people the facts on both sides, then the individual is given the opportunity to make a decision. So are we going up or are we going down? Is it the beginning or is it the end? That's for you to decide, but how can you decide unless you have the facts? So every Sunday, every Thursday, you're going to hear the facts. And here we go for what's happened this week across the United States. First of all, web traffic. That's traffic on buyer sites, Realtor.com, Zillow.com, Trulia, etc., etc., etc. Traffic is up. They all report more traffic over the last week. That's an up arrow. Secondly, buyer activity on those sites is also up. More inquiries, more requests to view property, more requests for showings, more requests for video showings, live interactive showings, and so on. Buyer activity is up. Counties that have opened crazy busy with people wanting to buy homes, primarily because interest rates are super low and it's almost the same to buy money-wise as it is to rent. Now, not all a rosy picture. Listings are down nationwide. In fact, they are down. In fact, they are at record lows. If you watch my Wednesday market updates, where I actually go into the statistics, you will see that every Wednesday exactly what's happening. Listings are at record lows. The number of sales are at record lows. Now, you got to take those facts in context. The context is that people aren't allowed to go outdoors. So unless you want to buy a house without seeing it, which some will but most won't, you're going to have less sales and, of course, less listings because sellers don't want real estate agents to go into their home. But still, 2 green arrows up, 2 red arrows down. Sales prices. Here's an interesting thing. A survey of sales nationwide, on average, only 3% of listings that sold in the last 30 days sold for less. 3%. 3%. It's not very much. Here's another interesting fact. Realtors surveyed, thousands of them across the country, who are talking to potential sellers, say that 77% of sellers, 77% are doing DIY projects around the house to get their home ready to sell. Also very interesting. That doesn't sound like despair to me. Now, what about the time it takes to sell? I'm going to give you one example. That in Riverside County, about 1,800 and some odd homes sold in the last 30 days. 1,800 plus. That's just single family homes, not condos and so on and so forth. Townhomes, no, just single family homes. 1,800 total. Of those 1,800, 650 sold in 10 days or less. That's extremely fast for a large amount of the inventory, over 30% of inventory. So that's also a check, an up. Here's an interesting fact. Across the nation, closings were analyzed over the last 30 days by several organizations, and closings are happening on time or close to it in parallel with previous years. So in spite of all of that Armageddon talking that nobody can get a loan, how did 1,800 homes close in Riverside County, thousands more across the state of California, and most of them on time? Very, very interesting. So again, there's a balance between positive news and not so positive news. Of course, this is all in the context that we don't know how many people are going to stay out of work and how many people are going to go back to work. So bottom line, I think there's 3 things to consider. 1, the underlying real estate market is solid. The underlying real estate market is based on fixed 30-year loans that are not going to go up and up and up and up, and people are sitting there in their homes. Secondly, sellers quite apparently are willing to wait until it's safe to have people in their home. They're willing to wait. Third, and this is something that comes from experience. In 2007, 8, 9, the predominant feeling amongst homeowners was desperation. It was desperation. Why? What caused the desperation? It was the fact that they'd taken out loans planning to sell the home within a year or 2 years, knowing that the payment would adjust and they couldn't afford it. So they planned to sell the home. Then suddenly houses stopped going up and they went, oh my gosh, I will not be able to make my house payment because the interest rate is going to double. So you saw this desperation. Suddenly sellers went, I got to sell my home. Now you see sellers sitting back saying, well, maybe I'll just improve my home and stay here for a while. So we are going to see, bottom line, over the coming months, what happens in employment, how many people go back to work, what happens with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, what happens with interest rates. Both of these things are going to balance each other. And as they balance each other, we will see where the economy goes and where the housing market goes. But the bottom line is this: life must go on. Children must go to school. Men and women, they want to get married. People want to have children. People want their lives to go on. So within the context of that, I will, every Sunday and every Thursday, I will give you the facts, the ups and downs, and give you the Real Estate ICU 2020. I hope that I see you here again next Thursday. I really do. I've seen what panic does and it's not good. Connect with me. Let me connect with you. Subscribe right here and we will keep you informed week by week. And here's another video for you to watch. Thanks so much. Catch you next week.